The second part of chapter 9 is going to be utilizing billable time. Okay, so we got to look at how we can utilize either items or expenses or things to reimburse for our customers, right? Especially when it geared towards making purchases for customers or to keep track of a better way to make sure that you have the people that do the jobs for the specific people, right? It's just a more extensive way to keep your revenues and your expenses organized, right? So that's exactly what the same thing as using class tracking is for. So in this case, now we're going to be moving on to one of the first sections. Remember when we look at the billable time sheet, little window thing, you have time. All right, and time is going to be very, very, very relevant, especially for any kind of business, especially if you're dealing with your employees, because that's the best way you can keep track of those individuals, but also keep track of the people and how they're doing the work for you, okay? So in this case, we're going to be looking at Mr. Mike Mazowski, which is one of our employees, and we're going to see how using him as an example, because he is a photographer and he's an hourly waged person or waged employee. So again, we're going to look at how he can keep track of his time and turn it in his timesheet to us so we can pay for it, but also bill the individuals that he worked for, okay? So again, that is using time. So again, we already activated the time, right? If we go to time and, what was it? Time and something. The very first question is do you keep track of time? And that's where your bottom part of the employees section, it's going to populate time. Okay, if you have that as inactive, you will not have this icon that says enter time. Okay, and tomorrow we're going to talk about what's going to happen when we get to what happens when we have employees. So this one's kind of like a a pre-notion or a pre-exposure before we dive into our employees. But this is how you can utilize the time tracking and for our employees, but also to bill your customers as well and to keep track of the expenses, right? We got to pay our employees. So again, that's how we're going to do. We need to first activate our enter time window, which is going to be right here. As you can see, there's a little triangle here, and it's going to pretty much give you the option to either do it as a weekly overview. So you type in all the hours that they've collected for a whole week, or you can actually enter it in on a daily basis. So for your employees who, for any reason that you have, let them have that small section for to turn in their timesheet or to keep track of their hours, right? Every day, you can have them have access to the QuickBooks, and they use this as a clock in, clock out kind of deal. So you can enter it in as a individual or a single activity. Of course, if you have it here, you can expect that when you go to the employee menu bar, that you can also enter in the time as well. Okay. If you go into the employee center, right, it looks similar to your vendor as well as your customer center, right? Everything looks pretty similar, right? Here I've listed that I have only 2 employees. Gives them your little overview of your employees. And if you want to, you can also see what transactions you can have. But for them, they don't have as many. You can pretty much only, you can't really do much when you get into here. But you can, and their enter time is going to be on a separate icon here. All right, so that's 3 ways you can enter in time, either using the Employee Center, going to the Employees menu bar, or straight on the home page. Okay, so again, we're going to be taking a look at recording Mr. Mike Mazowski's time. Okay, so again, we're going to be looking at our time sheets. So this is what it's going to look like. Now, in your book, all right, on page 278, if you can tell me you can read that, good for you. But I can tell you I cannot read this. But luckily, you guys are not my first round of students, so I was able to recapture this, and I actually have the picture for it. So instead of you squinting and having your eyes like this, I'm going to go ahead and pull up that picture. So here it is. So you guys can, take a second, pause the screen, take a picture of it. This is what I'm filling out for Mr. Mike Mazowski, okay? I've already pretty much kind of already have the idea. So this is what's going to happen here, and you guys have the video, so you guys can stop and pause if you'd like to redo this scenario here, okay? So again, how am I going to be entering in Mike Mazowski's time? So I'm going to go ahead and click Enter Time and view it as a weekly time sheet. So then when I click that, what I'm going to get is a little grid. Again, same thing. You're filling it out exactly like a form. You're filling in your timesheets. And what's the great thing about this is it does all the calculation for you in advance. Like it calculates all the time for you every time you enter in the information. So here, our first thing is, who is the person that we're keeping track or entering the timesheet for? And we're going to be doing this for, again, Mr. Mike Mazowski. Okay, so a little Monster Inc. reference if you know who he is. Mr. Mike Mazowski. Okay, and then the week that we are going to be recording his hours for is indeed going to be for the week of January, I think it was January 7th of 2019. So let me go ahead and activate that, January 7th. Okay, as you notice, when I do that, it's going to pull up the calendar and mark that Monday is the 7th, Tuesday is the 8th, and et cetera, okay? So again, how QuickBooks does this, it does it by a weekly basis. Now, question, what if I'm a bi-weekly payroll? You enter in on a weekly basis. They encourage you to do that because, again, you never want to wait 2 weeks for your employee to submit everything. They might not remember their hours. They might, just say, I'm always here. Just write me a 40-hour check. No. You want to make sure that you try to enter this information as soon as you know when it happens. So that's why they kind of encourage you to do it on a week-to-week basis. Now, as you can see, one person can have as many transactions as they want. They can spend 30 minutes here. They can spend an hour here, as long as they keep track of their own time, right? If you do overtime, this is the perfect place to be able to record every single thing that you've done for the company. So again, It's only scaled to either on a daily basis or a week-to-week basis. In this case, I don't want to do it on a day-to-day basis, so I'm doing it on a week-to-week basis. So the very first one is actually that we actually, okay, so let me see. The first thing that we had for the activity or service item, okay, is going to be for the meeting that we had for the office. So here under payroll item is going to be obviously hourly regular. He's not a salary-based person, so this is why we need to clock in his hours. And then we had a staff meeting on Monday for 5 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and record that in here. So payroll item. We will talk about your payroll items tomorrow for sure, and how to set up what our benefits and what our deductions can be. So that's tomorrow. Okay, so for this example, he is hourly. So hourly, regular, okay? And for this item here, or note, is going to be a staff meeting, okay? So, and that was 5 hours on Monday, all right? So once I've done that, now it says this now is making a billable, okay? So again, obviously, you're not going to be billing anybody for a staff meeting. So you want to make sure that you check mark off that, because who are you going to bill for you having a staff meeting? You know, the owner of the company is going to already pay you. So who are you going to bill for having a staff meeting? So make sure that you select that you do not want this to be a billable item. Okay? That's first things first. Right? So I believe the second item is going to be the Anderson wedding. All right. Now let me be specific. Is it for Kumar and Sadi, or is it for Sarah and Sarah? Okay. In this case, it just says Anderson wedding planner, indoor photo shoot, hourly, regular, and it was an actual wedding photo shoot. So again, Anderson wedding is going to be the second item here. So again, to maximize and utilize your functionality when moving between the form is tab. So Anderson wedding. So Anderson wedding planner, okay, so again, that's fine. We're only going to do planners, okay? So the service item is going to be, I completely forgot. Oh, that's right, indoor photo shoot, All right, and we are still hourly regular, and this is an actual wedding photo shoot. Okay, and now it's going to be about marking the hours that you have. So I believe I have for the Anderson wedding that Monday. Let me see. No, I only did Tuesday. Tuesday for 2 hours. So here, let's take a look at my picture again. So on Tuesday, I've only accumulated 2 hours for working at the Anderson wedding. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and verify that Tuesday, the 8th, I completed 2 hours. And again, here, I want to ensure that it's going to be billable to Anderson wedding. Okay. So good. Now the next one is going to be, I believe next is Miss Cruz Maria. Good, branch opening for the outdoor photo shoot. Okay, and it's going to be a site photo shoot. So that means we are at their location and we are taking photos there for the grand opening or their branch opening. Okay, so Cruz Maria, this is an outdoor photo shoot. All right, we are still hourly. And the note here is that we are on site photo shoot. All right, and now it's going to ask us which days did we actually do this for. So in my notes here for Maria Cruz, I completed it on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for Maria Cruz. So Tuesday I did 6 hours, 3 hours on Wednesday, and 6 hours on Thursday. So 6, 3, and 6. Okay, so Tuesday was 6 hours, Wednesday was 3, and Thursday was another 6. Okay. Last person that we're going to have is Mr. Bob Mason. He too also had an outdoor photo shoot. Again, see, it started to fill in because it's recognizing that we're still going to be hourly regular. But this time, this is also going to be site photo shoot as well. All right. Now, how many days did I work for Mr. Bob Mason? According to this, I worked for him on Monday. I worked for him on Tuesday. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I worked for him for 4 days. So 3 hours on Monday, 5 hours on Wednesday, 2 hours on Thursday, and lastly 8 hours on Friday. So that is 3, 5, 2, 8. So Monday was 3. Wednesday was 5. Thursday was 2. And Friday was 8. Okay. So again, if you notice at the very bottom, you could see that Monday is a full 8 hours. Tuesday's 8 hours. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they're all 8 hours. And he is an hourly regular and he's claiming only 40 hours this week. So as you can see, now we are done and we can complete and enter in this amount. So again, making sure that the people that can be billable are billable. All right. So in this case, Anderson Wedding, billable. Maria Cruz, billable. Bob Mason, billable. For our staff meeting, it is not billable. Okay. You don't want to bill your boss when they're already going to pay you. Okay. So there you go. Everything looks good. There's a full 40 hours. So it gives you a total at the very bottom. And once you've done this, we could go ahead, click save and close. Okay. And then again, what the book tells you is if you were to, bill Maria Cruz, his name will be attached on there. Okay. So that is one way that you could keep track of your bills or your items there. You can also have the ability to print out timesheets. So for those who are not very good at using clocking towers or things like that, you can actually print out a timesheet for your employees. All right, it's pretty straightforward. You go to File and you go to Print Forms and you're going to print the timesheets out. I'm not going to have the time to do that or show you that just because it's pretty straightforward as far as printing out timesheets. So when you print out a timesheet, you can actually give an overview of an individual's time sheet for that week. So again, this is just keeping records for your company, but also to verify with your employee that these are the hours that you've done. They may submit it to you, And you could keep this for your for your company's files per se. Okay. So once we've already sent out those build out items for Mike Wazowski, right? We made sure that they were linked and that he's going to be billed for those. The customers that he worked for are going to be billed for his time. So what's going to happen is here we're going to go ahead and take a look at passing that timesheet through. So here we're going to go ahead and enter in another invoice, and we're going to select that time. So here, let's see who we're going to be selecting. We're going to select Maria Cruz branch opening for our invoice. Okay, so again, we learned this in chapter 2, the ways to enter in an invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and write Cruz Maria branch opening. And then I'm going to get this, again, same billable window again. All right, I'm going to click OK. Now, here is us utilizing the option for time. Okay, so we have our outdoor photo shoot. So remember when we typed it in, right? Mike Wazowski worked for her for 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So as you can see here, she's being billed for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay, so Tuesday for 6 hours, Wednesday for 3, Thursday for 6. Okay, so that's what you're going to do, and you're going to select all of it. Okay. Okay, I guess you can't select all. Okay, there you go. Okay, select all. All right. So here we selected everything. All right. So again, the options is time, right? No expenses that we have for her, no mileage, and obviously no items per se, just only time. All right. Once I've clicked and selected all of those times, I'm going to click OK. And now she's going to get billed for Mr. Mike Wazowski's job. Okay, for the service that he provided for her. It becomes billable. Okay, so again, thank you for your business. Memo. Outdoor photo session. Okay. And then let's see, let me go ahead and double confirm my screen with this screen here. And making sure that the invoice is correct for $14,025. So let me see, $14,025. So again, everything looks good. Again, the date could be easily fixed. PO number or reference number. It should be whatever invoice that you're given out. Now this one, we also give a discount. Okay, we give them terms. Okay, making sure everything else looks good. Obviously, these are our services, so you're not going to get taxed for it. So everything looks good, and then I'm going to go ahead and save and close. Okay, and that's how you use time and pass the bill along to your customers. Okay, and that's how you keep track of Mike Wazowski's expenses too. What work did he actually do? And you can actually pull up the file too and do a report based on their jobs. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and any questions in regards to employees and their time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So again, now it's saying making the billable item active again. So, it's pretty straightforward. So once you've already invoiced your customer and you want to rebill them for any reason, so you actually going to go back to the timesheet. So for any adjustments you need to make, you're actually just going to go back to the timesheet and select that person's name and just go back to that exact timesheet that they submitted. So in this case, I'm going to go back to Mike Mazowski's bill. So Mike Mazowski. And I'm going to go back to that date, which was January 7. All right, and here it pulls up this. Now, if you actually look at it, what happens is that because we've already invoiced Maria Cruz and we transferred or passed the bill along to Maria Cruz to pay for, all of a sudden when you come back to his timesheet, it's unchecked, and there's a little tiny calendar if you look very close to it. All right? In order to and of course, let's say she does the same thing next week, right? What you can do is you can make it billable again by activating it. So then here it says activating this row, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we say have yes. So then again, now we reactivated it, meaning that she could be billed again for any reason. Maybe she does a last minute photo shoot on Saturday, anything like that, right? You can reactivate the billing cycle again, and that's how you do it. Not very hard, but it's a minor detail unless you choose, like, again, to keep track of every expense and every revenue and categorize them based on your customers or based on the items and time. You can do that. And wait, hold on. Yes. All right, the data has been changed, and yes, we made the changes. So other things you can do too is that you, as an employee, right, you can keep track of your time. But as a business owner or a partner, you do not get paid like a regular employee. You're the owner of the business. The business is yours, and you can take money out of it at any given time. However, maybe you want to justify or measure how long a typical project would take you. So for example, like if I'm interested in renovating a specific site, or I am trying to, do something for the business like that could potentially take a long time for, right? Whatever project that I want to do, I can also keep track of the time for that as well. Okay, so again, and obviously paying for yourself, you don't do. But it's also nice to know how many hours you're putting into a specific project, and for what is a good amount to pay yourself for, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to take $5,000 every month. At least this gives you a reason, or it gives you justification on what you contributed to your actual company. So yes, you can, as an owner or a partner, keep track of your own time to measure whatever it needs to measure for whatever purpose you want to use the time for. So in this case, let me see if we have, in this case, the example here is we're actually going to create a owner or a, I guess, yes, I think he's an owner. So let's go ahead and create him first. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to the Employee Center, okay? And we're going to, actually, no, he's not an employee. He's actually going to be on another list. He's going to be on other names because he doesn't, obviously the owner or the partner is not going to be an actual employee. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to list, and then you're going to have other names list, okay? And when I click that, you can have other people on here. In this case, I have nobody on here. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in a new other name. All right. And this guy is going to be either the owner or the partner. So in this case, what's his name? I think his...
Vern Black.
Okay, Vern Black. What is the company? Obviously, Academy Photography. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so what company does he belong to? Yes. Yes, he's the owner. Academy Photography. All right. Does he have is he a Mr.? Yes, he is a Mr. First name, Vern. Last name, Black. Nope. Black. Okay. Does he have a contact number? None. No phone number? Oh yeah. I meant the phone number. None.
No phone.
No phone number. Email. Any of those things? None. Say that again. Okay, so address. What's the address? Nine 4588. Okay. So now that I have that here, I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. So now this guy is an other name. He's the owner, of course, and we can go ahead and close this list. So again, your employees are separate from any owner and any other business because, of course, it makes sense. Your boss is not going to work for the company. So once I've done that, right, I'd be able to enter in his time. I'm going to also do another weekly section. So what I can do is if I go to name and I type in Vern Black, okay, so he's going to be on the list. So his date is also going to be the same as the January 7, right? Okay, January 7, okay, 2019. So again, Monday is the 7th. So now it's time to fill out his information here. Okay, so again, if you look at that little tiny page, it's okay. I have it already. So for Mr. Vern Black, okay, he's completed. The first line is admin, okay, and his hourly rate is going to be overtime. Okay, so he's admin. I think this one's admin. Okay, hold on. No. Service item. No, there's no admin there. So again, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, so admin, his pay rate or service item is overtime. Apparently he does. Let me see. Um,
I'm just kidding.
yes. Um, apparently he does get overtime for some reason. Okay. So here. Okay, so I'm billing Miss Maria Cruz. Oh wait, hold on. The first one is okay. First one's admin. He's doing overtime for all these hours, and I have. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. So this kind of looks different from the one that we just did. So service item. He's not doing any service item. Notes is admin. Class. That's weird. It's not the same timesheet as the other one. Okay, so anyways, let's just do the hours and then we'll fill in everything else. Notes, service item. There's no payroll item on here. Okay, so anyway, so the time that he did was Monday. He did 3 hours on Monday. 3 hours on Monday. He completed 2 hours on Tuesday. He completed 8 hours on Wednesday. And he completed 9 hours on Thursday. And then 12 hours on Friday.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the way I'm looking at it, it's we're just putting basically the employees or the management hours, whatever. But because I'm looking at it, it does not automatically show how much the corresponding cost.
No. That's going to be when we move into tomorrow, when we dive into everyone's pay rate.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, every individual gets paid a different amount. Okay. So then the next line is going to be Maria Cruz. Okay, obviously, it's not going to be billable. I'm not going to bill myself. Or the owner's not going to bill himself. So again, we're going to go to Maria Cruz. Branch opening. Okay, service item here is going to be retouching. Okay, any notes here? Yeah, photo retouching. Okay, and class.
Walnut Creek.
All right, and let's see, I believe he did 5 hours on Monday and 6. Okay, so 5 hours on Monday, and he did 6 hours on Tuesday for Maria Cruz. And of course, because we can bill the person for the owner's hours. Okay, so there you go. That's what it looks like. There's no payroll item for the owner, so that could be a little different. But yes, so now that we verified that he worked a total of 45 hours, okay, we are good to go. All right, save and close. So again, if we go ahead and bill Maria Cruz again, branch opening, we're going to get that window. I'm going to click OK. And under time, here, you're getting rebilled for Mike Mazowski's hours, and you're also getting billed for Vernon's hours. So again, this is where you can, delete your invoices, obviously, if you've already sent one out, or modify it. So again, this is me remodifying it, But you don't need to select everything if you've already sent the bill out. Okay. Oftentimes it's gonna, if you do send an invoice that doesn't have all of the necessary items that they've requested, some customers can complain and they won't like that. But in this case, I believe we select everything. Is that right?
Yeah.
We select everything and we're gonna bill them for that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and select all. Okay, and I'm gonna click OK. So here's everything that they have. Again, I'm gonna say thank you for your service. Outdoor photo session and retouching. Now, of course, you've already invoiced Maria Cruz for Mike Mazowski's hours. So you're going to either have to adjust that one or you're going to have to delete that one, just because you're not going to bill a customer twice for service for the same exact service. But in this case, I guess the example in the book says you should just go ahead and do it. So we're going to click Save and Close. All right, then it's going to say yes. Wait, what does this say? This says that the credit limit has been exceeded. You just say yes. All right, so now if you look under Maria Cruz, she has a lot of transactions between us because we got to order a specific camera for her. We've also got to do a bunch of billable time for Maria Cruz. Okay. And yeah, so that's it for billable time. And yes, any questions for that?
So in other words, you can put, since we have Maria Cruz only that, and you have 2 employees, you can just bill them together.
Yes, yes.
Or, like you said a while ago, if you wanted a separate, you can just do it and then delete whatever that you have on that particular one a while ago.
Just as a rule of thumb, you never want to delete anything in your QuickBooks. What I could have done is I could have just revised the invoice, but in this case, the book is just showing you what you can and what you can't do.
But
Okay.
so that there are all those other services, different customers you have there. You can just click to that corresponding employee or the service.
Yeah, as long as you attach a specific customer/job to them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like with what's his name, Mike. You just since you have the manager and the owner and Mike's name there, you can just click everything on Mike's name there. Right?
So again, if I'm looking at Maria Cruz right now, so she's got a lot of invoices from us. Yes. Okay. So any other questions in regards to time and billable time at all? Okay. No questions?
Not for me.
Okay. So now we're going to be looking at obviously time reports. Time reports, again, it's only significant to you if you choose to either look at the time that someone invested in some person or how many custom jobs a specific person had. So you're going to go obviously to your reports and you're going to go to, I believe you're going to go to customer jobs. Customers and receivables, no. Jobs, time, and mileage is what you're going to go for. So again, you can look at job probability, seeing how frequent a job is being made. You can look at job estimates. So like how, so again, how like if we do people who request for photo sessions, you could do estimates there. You can again do a profit and loss based on jobs, saying which one is more profitable. Okay, you can also tailor the time by the job, of course. You could do time by name. So again, see who put their time in. And you can also, again, if you use mileage, which we didn't learn in this class, but if you're the person that reimburses your employees for traveling, then you'll use mileages, okay? And then et cetera, et cetera. You could even do time by item. So which in this case, which item or service that required the most time or collected the most time for. So that's, there you go right there. So again, it's only pertinent to whatever you're looking for in a company. So especially when you're dealing with your customers, you want to know which jobs specifically are given to a specific customer, how much time was invested into them. So in this case, each person, right? So Maria Cruz, it's broken down by their what they've acquired from us. So again, Maria Cruz did a lot of outdoor photo shoots as well as retouching. So again, reports is to me only benefits you on what you're looking for when it comes to researching and finding out what answer you are. So definitely this is more geared towards, especially if you're dealing with your employees. So HR would primarily use this. Again, if you're a individual, you can keep track of your own people that you're doing jobs for. So this could be something that you want to utilize. All right. Any other questions in regards to chapter 9?
I got a question. Do the human resources use also QuickBook?
Say it again.
Do the human resources also uses QuickBook?
Yes, because if they're in, okay, so we'll talk about this tomorrow. Okay. If you have a payroll system, then yes, HR will definitely have access to QuickBooks.
So this is part of accounting, really?
It can be because it is yes, HR is part of accounting. It is going to also be part of the accounting class. I will show you how to calculate if you are the HR. Because again, that's going to be considered an expense that you have to pay for the company. You have to pay your employees. All right? So that's definitely a part of accounting because you need to make sure that the number one thing is if you have employees, you need to have the money to pay for them. Okay? And especially we're going to talk about benefits because if you offer benefits to them, that means you're responsible for paying for whatever benefit that you set out to them. And again, we'll talk about how employees, right, for hiring employees, you have to also be responsible to pay into their Social Security, their Medicare, the federal unemployment tax, the state unemployment tax, workers' comp to protect your own company. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that particular section when we move on to the accounting, but we'll briefly touch upon it in tomorrow's lesson when we build our payroll items, but as well as payroll section. So tomorrow is chapter 10, which is going to be looking at how to set up payroll. And you may think it's an easy thing, and I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to warn you now, it is not. It is very long and very difficult, especially if you don't have a clue what you offer your employees. Okay? But other than that, yes, HR does in fact utilize QuickBooks if there is a payroll system going on. All right. So, for example, my HR tells me, hey, submit your timesheet in so I can submit it into the system so then you can get paid. All right. So, yes, if they want to utilize QuickBooks to enter in the timesheet and have the payroll processing do the work for you, then yes. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let's go ahead and go over the review questions. So, number one, okay, in QuickBooks, you are allowed to pass through billable expenses to customers.
C.
So I got someone that says C, someone that says D. Anybody else want to tell me what they guessed? Okay, so the answer is C. Okay, if you use a bill, credit, or credit card check and you assign, okay, the customer to that specific expense, then yes, C is the correct answer. Okay. Okay, number two, okay, which account types can be used to in the expense tab, okay, of purchase transaction to make the expense billable?
D.
Yes, D, all of the above. Yes, this was on page, that was the very first thing that we looked on that very page, was it gave you a list of what you can make an item billable for, right? Any expense is going to be definitely one of them. And we will learn the different categories of expenses in accounting for those who don't really know. But yes, all of these are expenses. So yes, they are going to be billable. Number three, okay, if you want to assign expenses to a customer / job, but do not want to pass the item along, okay? So to pass along the reimbursement, do the following in the purchase transaction. So what are you gonna do?
B.
B. Yes. You're gonna assign the custom job, but when you get that little window where it says, do you want to make it billable? You're just gonna uncheck it. Pretty straightforward. We looked at that before. So when we talked about when Mike Mazowski, did you want to bill the owner? Of course not. So you uncheck it. Okay. So to activate that or to not to pass the bill along, you're going to utilize. You're just going to uncheck that billable option. Okay. Number 4, which of the following tabs appear in the choose billable time window?
D.
D, all of the above. Yes, remember that little window. Every time you have you assign a specific customer, and then whether you do an invoice, you're gonna get that little window that's gonna appear 4 tabs. First one is going to be your time. Second is going to be expenses. Third is mileage, and lastly is your items. So D, all the above. Yes, all of these 3 items exist, and we got to take a look at every single one today. And then lastly, number 5, okay, in an invoice, you can automatically mark up the pass-through expense using the markup amount column or option, okay? And it's only available in which tab on the billable time window?
D. D.
Not all of the above. It is D. The only one that we got to see was only expenses have the option to mark up. Remember? So for items, depending on, you can set your markup based on setting up the item itself. Time, obviously, you would also set whatever price value for the service was. All right. Whether you pay your employees a different amount is the markup is already set in the service price. So the only option that you can do that for is either expenses, but if you want to actually calculate it in the item, you can physically do it by doing the auto math in the actual invoice. So B is the only option that you're going to have to be able to do that markup.
Expense tab, B as in boy, right?
B as in boy. Yes. Okay. If you need to look that section up again, go back to the very, 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 very first example that we did. And you'll see that on the expense tab, you will have that 20% markup. Okay. All right. Other than that, I don't know about you, but I don't have anything other. I don't want to go into one of these just because, again, it's only pertinent to if you guys choose to want to recategorize your expenses and your revenues, like link them together. But in this case, it's not as important as dealing with inventory or payroll itself, especially when we do that. So for Chapter 9, I would tell you it's not as important as you think, right? It's just something I want to show you that you can do when it comes to, breaking down and actually categorizing your expenses and your revenues down to even further. All right. So I'm not going to go over this. So right now it's 11 o'clock. I'm going to let you guys go. So if you guys don't have any other questions, you guys are free to go.
Blessings,
Have a good
everyone.
day, everyone.
Thanks, Lynn. Bye, everyone.
Bye.